Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday on Yourview. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have my lovely co-host. Hi, ladies.
Hi, Mariah.
Jumza in the building.
Yo, yo, yo.
How you doing? How's your weekend?
Inconclusive.
Oh, really? What happened?
We don't understand.
Hopefully,
Inconclusive.
it will be concluded by this
Thursday.
weekend.
Okay. What? Anything else interesting?
Well, something that is very interesting is how some potholes in Lagos are patched, and within a few weeks, the holes come back.
Exactly.
I don't understand.
Even on
As
this
in,
CMD road, same thing.
See, my pastor has been saying it for many years, that yes, it will cost you a lot to do an international standard road. But once it is done, you don't have to ever go back there. The Kudirat Abiola Way in Oregon has been done for several years, no potholes. If you do it well, you don't have to go back there.
Besides, I think that we have universities and we have people that are studying engineering, civil engineering, going for PhD, and they're supposed to do research. This is one of the most relevant research to us, how to fix potholes as a problem.
Even I remember when I went to France, when they're trying to fill a pothole, when they're trying to fix a road, we saw the layer of, is it asphalt, that the black thing?
Yes.
It was like this high. Before, so thick. Before they now put the regular, it was so, and I'm wondering, in Nigeria, the thing is like this.
And we're asking what the problem is.
So obviously,
probably the lecturer said, know that we're not ready to solve the real problem.
Anyways, how's your business? How you doing, madam?
I'm doing good. I have a rant. I have this old account I opened when I was single with a bank, and I wanted to use it, and they've asked us of BVN, you know, so I have to change give them identification. But they're asking me to bring the newspaper publication. That
Yes, no.
Where am I going to get that
That's
from?
how you change your name. And so you must
No, I have
You
done.
redo.
Oh, so I have to go back
You redo.
to do that.
I did mine too, so I made photocopies of that newspaper. So just in case anything like this comes up, I always have it.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that crazy?
It is, but it's the system.
Once you
It's
have
a
your
Nigerian
once you
factor.
have a passport that carries your new name,
Yes,
you
then
should
it
actually
shouldn't
just
be
automatically
enough.
override it. But then
And you have my marriage certificate.
We're used to, this is the procedure right
That is
from
back in the
way
days,
back.
and
Yeah.
honestly,
Bring your grandmother's
that's why we need
tutu-
correct
tutu-
leaders.
tutule.
Listen, that newspaper cutting is like your certificate. Keep it.
And
I made like 10
Laminate
copies.
it.
I paid like 10 copies. It's in my safe. Because I know Nigeria, they'll just call you and start saying, bring something like that.
Oh my
How are you doing, Jerry?
I'm good.
So Topsy's traveling tomorrow by God's grace.
You are?
Thursday.
Oh,
on Thursday morning.
yeah, she's going to represent us at My Pad in New York. Yay! Remember, the ladies of Yourview were the top 100 most influential persons of African descent. Yay!
I went through the list. Those people that confirmed, the idea is we're bringing 50 people within Africa that are doing well in their field of interest, and we have 50 people from the diaspora across of African descent doing well. And the idea is to bring them together to network. So what they are doing, teamwork, what we're doing as within on the show, what people are doing there, what we can do together. Okay, how can you help us get better? How can we improve in Africa? How can we use this leverage we have at this platform to touch more lives? So it's going to have 3 days.
Especially since the United Nations is focused on Africa for the next 10 years.
So I'm going to be doing a UN
So
tour.
say hi to President Buhari for us and his wife.
Is he gonna be there?
Yes,
I know he's
UN General Assembly. He's going to be there. I think he leaves today also. His wife is going to be talking at one of the tuberculosis thing. Tony Saraki is going to be talking about politics and inclusion. So we're proud.
I'm learning.
Okay.
I mean, there's a training for
There's
3
a
days,
training,
and there's a tour. You're going to have fun.
Yes.
So we bring the training back so that when we're voting for you,
You can say.
Yeah, that's serious.
Mariah, how are you?
I'm doing fine. You know, I was just in Mariam in the makeup room. I got crucified by my daughter. I wanted to discipline her on Saturday. And she was telling me, I hate you, mommy. You know, I know you hate me. Tell me who my real mother is. And came with Darren. And asked my husband, what's going on? He said, well, this is your cross. Carry it. I am not involved in this conversation. I mean,
express themselves.
I mean, well, I'm happy. But eventually, but I was able to understand that she felt like, listen, the twins are here. I pushed her to the side, and now, you know, and the situation, and she feels like, you know, it's not getting better.
The only time she meets you is when you're disciplining her.
Yes, well, Well, I tried to do, well, anyway, I should have gotten the learning.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fix the
Yeah,
problem.
that's what I
Balance
said
it.
to her. I said they should hang
Yoruba
out
say,
together.
ọwọ́ tí eyín tájà fi ń di ọmọ ẹ̀ náà ló fi mú. So you beat her with the
But
left
someone was
hand.
saying, okay, when we were children, we didn't have the guts to even say that.
Excuse me, I said it to my mom.
Well, we thought it, we didn't say it.
Yeah, most of us didn't say it. And then a few of us that said it,
You know,
we
when she
got
told me, I just kept
serious
quiet. I
repercussions.
just went to my room.
Every
I
time
sat down.
said it seemed like it worked because my father would now call me and sit me down.
Yes. I just sat down quietly. I was sober in my room.
You knew it was. That's why you were.
Yes, now.
So you don't use it.
Father Lord.
Okay, you bought your own.
I know. I will prevent it.
All right, let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll breeze through. And we have a lovely cake.
Yeah.
From Chef Wumi. She was on Wake Up Nigeria this morning. She gave us this lovely cake, which we just might cut during the show. But let's first, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying. We're going to start with the Punch. Osun governorship rerun. Anti-Buhari coalition accuses INEC of releasing PVCs to government officials. Present concrete proofs, Commission tells CUPP. Picture here, protest rocks INEC as Uyinola asks umpire to declare Adeleke winner. I have no regrets kidnapping APC chairman's son, I beg, says woman. Man, pregnant wife, brother die after eating poisoned food. Traders seek ECOWAS intervention as Ghana shuts 400 Nigeria businesses. Osun Omishore gives conditions to support PDP. Osinbajo in Kogi as flood kills 108 and displaces over 140,000. Your SAN rank can be withdrawn, CJN warns lawyers. And Lagos APC governorship ticket, GAC backs direct primary, promises fairness. Oil price hit $81 highest since 2014.
So
Too many stories.
Yeah. So
Go,
the human,
Miriam. Go.
the human interest story, which is not anywhere else, so I'll take it. That's in Bayelsa, a pregnant woman, her husband, and her brother-in-law, a 10-year-old.
Yeah, so Oji 35, his wife Nkem 34, and Ogbani 10 years.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So they were found dead in their room on Saturday. On Friday they had eaten. So on Saturday morning, the neighbors had not seen them come out. So in the afternoon, they broke their door open and then they found them dead. And beside them also, which led them to believe there might have been poisoning, they found a dead rat beside them. So it seemed that they had eaten poisoned food. So investigation.
The
is
other
going on
human
what
interest
happened.
story, there's a lady Fatima, she was actually pregnant. She actually kidnapped the son of the APC chairman in which state was that?
Borno State,
Borno State.
Maiduguri.
And when they asked her, she said she has no regrets because she needed money. So she had to kidnap the boy.
Yeah.
In fact, I think she also delivered her own baby too. So with the baby and the kidnapped child, she said she needed the money, that she would do it again if she had the opportunity to.
Yeah.
Unrepentant kidnapper.
Because you defined it. It's about, for her, she's rationalized the fact that I'm so poor, I have a baby coming, I will do anything to preserve my baby,
but
which
that's
is wrong.
not her story. Her story is that I want to enjoy my life. I like money and I like to spend it. So it's not about poverty.
She'll be all right. She'll be all right.
Well, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so the CJN, Onoge, is saying that when new appointed SAN, that's Senior Advocate of Nigeria, they now have responsibilities. You cannot be a SAN official and be found in any way guilty of any crime.
Impunity.
Anything related to impunity, any impunity, you cannot be found guilty. So if you're found bribery in bribery or anything, and you must also have a structure to produce other SANs.
I like the word he used. He said the courts, the judges must resist the rapacious elites.
Yes. And he was saying it at the inauguration of 30 new SANs. There were supposed to be 31.
Right.
But one
was
had his license revoked because he had forged certificates.
Right.
How can you want to be a SAN and forge documents?
Moving on now to the nation. Alleged voter cards deals. PDP chief held in Osun. Convention venue unsettles PDP. Wike lashes aspirants opposing Port Harcourt. Modric wins 2018 FIFA Best Award. All calm as Polaris Bank day one after takeover. Lagos not going back on direct primaries. Unilorin ASU chair faces plagiarism crisis. Let me tell you about Polaris Bank. So my assistant went to Polaris Bank yesterday just to try to transfer to pay her school fees. And she got there, and I go, welcome to Polaris Bank. Everything, what, how may I help you? Come here. Auntie, calm down. I was here last week. All this your severity.
They have to retain their job. They have to retain their jobs.
Say from the security guard, they all greet us. Calm down.
They want to show you that they are different from Sky.
That story you took, there's something that made me laugh. That a customer went into the bank and insisted that they strike out on her checkbook, Sky Bank, and write Polaris Bank on top of it. Yes, and they did.
Now, if you people say you're not Polaris, let me know that it's Polaris. I wanted to take the Amaju Pinnick story.
Yes, go ahead.
So he has been NFF chair for the tenure, I think was 4 or 5 years, and Giwa had gone to court and they'd gone back and forth. FIFA, who is the international body for football, banned Giwa. But guess what? Just this year, a Nigerian court, because Giwa went to court, then said Giwa was the original president of NFF. And FIFA was going to say, you know what, we're going to ban the whole of Nigeria if you do not reinstall Pinnick. So they went into election, and I was saying that Giwa should just have stayed after court, knowing that their elections were coming up pretty soon. Just let the guy finish his tenure and do the re-election. Anyway, Pinnick has now won the new election for another term of 4 to 5 years.
Moving on now to Daily Sun. Lagos Governorship Advisory Council declares Ambode must test his popularity at primaries. Tells Sanwo-Olu to also contest. Saraki Atiku Tambuwal face PDP screening panel. Convention venue aspirants opposed to Rivers against Niger Delta, says Wiki. Buhari orders payment of 22.6 billion naira to ex-Nigeria Airways workers. And IPOB accuses Ohaneze of betraying Igbo. So the GSC, which are the major headline, they're saying they're insisting that it's going to be direct primaries, which we already mentioned.
I mean, it has internal democracy. Yeah. We love it. I wanted to take the Airways
story. Yes, I want to take that as well. Go ahead. So 42.8 billion naira has been approved by Buhari towards the payment of the benefits for those that had
left
the
amount
defunct,
old, but it's 22 that was paid. Yeah.
Defunct Nigerian Airways Limited. So 22.68 is going towards that, and then 20 billion is going towards the revitalization of public universities.
This has been 15 years.
Yes, 15.
It seems like the Minister of Finance now, the new one, who is substantive, Aisha, has been on work, major work, a lot of things that have been pending.
Her name is not Aisha, her name is Zainab Ahmed. I wanted to tell that last year, September 20th, the Nation newspaper carried the story where the Minister for State for Aviation, Adi Sirika, had said that the president had ordered the then Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, to pay 45 billion. This was last year, September. Exactly 1 year later, the new minister is saying, oh, we will pay you half of that sum. They had been owed this money for 15 years. The original amount was 78 billion. They came down during negotiations to let's just take 45. But for 15 years, they were not paid. So I'm saying, if not that these people kept on protesting this year, would have assumed that their monies were paid in full last year.
When it first
so it's not just telling us about it on paper. Tell us when it is paid.
Okay. All right. Moving on now to Vanguard. And you mentioned the one for education also, 20 billion.
20 billion.
Vanguard. Osun high wire intrigues as PDP APC dig in for votes. Lagos governorship primary, Sanwo-Olu meets Fashola Banire Oki's camp. FG releases 42 billion for Nigeria Airways ex-workers public vacancies. Let's see. Customers meet seamless services at Polaris. We talked about that already. FG recalls Paris Club refund to 5 states. And anti-corruption war can't succeed under culture of impunity. Shoshu goes to the polls on Thursday again. And everybody's Iyola Omishore has now become the new bride. Everybody's going to go and see him because he's the stronghold that the votes were cancelled.
Okay, he was the bride they were cutting. He's now the wife of PDP because he has finally come back.
He hasn't. No, he has not finally said it's PDP.
The tweet he put out yesterday, thanking the Senate President Bukola Saraki for coming and showing pictures of him.
Bukola Saraki came. APC, MDC are already gone. So they are still talking. So according to him, he has conditions he has laid out to both parties. If you can meet those conditions.
Okay, you're the one from Osun here.
Yes, so
that's your village, man.
How are your people doing?
How are they doing?
You see, the local government that, they're owing us 3 years salary.
Fact. Fact. Whoever, you see, I'm so worried that people are trying to become governor that because they're in so much debt.
Yes, and I hear that.
They depend 92% of the revenue from federal government.
There's a
So
crisis.
even if you're going in there as a governor, you are going to work. I don't even know which magic you want to do.
You remember that the federal government even deducts the money owed from source.
Which is
Yes,
why
which
I
is-
wonder if the citizens of Osun State understand the problem
Exactly.
on ground and they feel the person they voted for is competent enough to carry out the
Well, they
change
haven't
they want.
voted
Poverty has
yet.
been weaponized. Please, in the eye of 2,000 naira, all these your permutations will be second
We'll see.
consideration.
My own is
Wish
that
them all the
there's
best.
plenty of work in Osun State. Anyway, let's move on to Nigerian Tribune. If I was the president, anyway, Osun PDP heads for court. Let me see this story we haven't taken here. Some lawyers forged court the judgments to get SAN granted CJN. And I think we're taking all the stories. That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we return, so we're surfing through the internet and we've seen all sorts of topics. Anyway, when we come back, we'll discuss one of them. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Yourview.
Right, so since last year that Daddy Freed broke the news on don't pay tithe, there's lots of churches have been under lots of criticisms for one thing or the other. So recently, a video went viral over the weekend. A prophet out of the blues instructed a female member of his church to take home all the offering that was generated during the service. This has definitely caused lots of comments on social media from people saying that that is exactly how church should be. Others are saying, we're just criticizing the act, like on what basis would he do that? Now, what are your thoughts on it? I'd like to hear your views on it. As I said, people put in an extra eye into what the church does with their finances has become so popular since last year, since Daddy Freeze brought out this thing, this is illegal to pay tithe, and churches are now, initially, churches were against him, but eventually a few churches have somewhat aligned. So, okay, I see what you're saying.
Started apologizing.
Oh, really? So now, we're seeing more churches coming out to have more philanthropic approaches to things. Like, okay, let's give out things. And that's how some people interpreted this, that is this just in response to him, or is this truly how this church, this pastor, this preacher actually behaves in church? So, but I don't go to that church, but what are your general views when you saw that video? It's gone viral and everybody's talking about it.
I mean, it's good for the church right now. You know.
And it's good for that woman.
It's good for the church, good for the woman, good for the pastor, because there's just, as you said, so many bad stories about churches and what the pastors are doing. So it's good to have like a feel-good story come out of church, especially concerning tithe. And then because it's such a spiritual thing, I don't think I'm thinking that he didn't do it so that he can gain popularity, but, you know, the leading of the Spirit. And so maybe God has answered this woman's prayer in her darkest hour of need, in the privacy of her home, and then she came to church and God made himself.
Many motivational speakers have told us that
available.
it's not about the money usually.
Very
You
true.
want to empower people is really
very true.
empowering their minds, because you can dish them out 10 million naira.
When you are hungry, and that video was about the poorest person,
yeah.
when you're hungry and you have no hope, whatever skill you are giving me does not feed me at the moment. So yes, give me that motivational package of empowerment, but can I have food? Right. So I know the person. This person, we've been following him for a long time. He's a white garment church.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Fantastic.
he's a white garment church, and he's a young, radical pastor that believes in, as the Spirit leads, we can start the service in the morning and close service at 10 p.m. Because the Spirit has said we should continue this service till the end of the day. And some days they'll close the service early and it's just music all through. She said the Spirit said they should just be praising God. And so that is his model. So it doesn't look like it was, I don't think it was playing to the gallery. The way people make it look like, oh, because people have been talking about tithe, that's why he's playing this drama. No, I think that it was sincerely a case of, he stood up and he was walking through the church and he said, is there somebody here that doesn't have any plan of what she's going to eat, or he or she would eat for dinner and the family? Who is here? And the one woman stood up, and that was it. So it was more like spontaneous. However, I've said over and over again here that the essence of our religion, especially if your religion is Christianity as patterned and as exemplified by Jesus, is the sense of giving, selfless service and giving, not where we have pastors who are extremely rich and comfortable, lauding that presence
Yeah,
over
I hear
poor
you,
members.
Tope,
So if you have poor members,
Right.
they should be your priority.
I
at
hear you,
every
Tope,
point in
and I know
time.
that even you have said that, listen, it takes money to run the church. I mean, finances are used for so many things in
I
church.
totally
so
agree.
Many churches actually do a lot of philanthropic activities. They give out stuff. I know lots of churches do. So is it by showing needs on the pulpit and saying, okay, who here needs, here, take?
The first two churches, the Catholic and the Protestants, had it institutionalized because their money came from donations.
Right.
So they had hospitals and clinics, they had schools for their children. And their pastors were like in the army. So you were all on the same salary, you had one headquarters where all the money went to. So except you were stealing the money before you send it to headquarters, you truly couldn't put your eye in the
Right,
money. Because the church even took care of you. They had vicarages. So if the church has a gen, your welfare is properly taken care of. You had the church bus to take you anywhere. So you didn't need to be thinking of buying an SUV. Because the work of God, as Tope has mentioned, is truly spiritual. So they wanted to take care of your physical body so you didn't have to worry about anything physical.
So should we celebrate this man?
So I think that he ought to be celebrated, particularly because he also took care of her after feeding her. He mentioned, tell me what business you want to start and we will give you money to start your business. So he knew that just giving her the church's donation for that day was not enough.
So kudos to that pastor.
Yes.
Kudos to churches who, even though do not give it to one person, have some have like a welfare system institutionalized.
The thing I see is most churches have, if not all.
Yes.
What happens is it's a small percentage of your monies because at the end of the day, if you were using the larger chunk of the church's money, you'd hardly have anything left for somebody to go and buy a private jet. That's the honest truth.
Exactly.
All right, still on the issue of social media, I mean, lots of stories are going around. We also read another story about a Nigerian man named Son McGee recently shared his thoughts on women who acquired properties without first asking their husbands. He went on further to say, only an irresponsible, stupid wife will buy a property without first asking her husband. Do you agree? Let me not come to Jumoke first, because I can already sense her response. Let me go to you, Tope.
Those words were strong.
Strong words.
Irresponsible and
Wow.
stupid. I think it's only an irresponsible and stupid man that would use such a word to describe a woman.
Simple.
Not whether you're wife or not your wife. You don't use such words to describe a human being. However, we cannot entirely I think every woman and decisions, financially strong decisions, should be carried out as a family. I believe so. However, if time is of essence for me to make a decision to buy property,
Call him.
and I can just write, I'll call. You can inform.
Yes.
You can, if you,
No, but
you're already on the same
Nima has been
page.
on this couch and said, listen, there are lots of women she's come across who are totally disempowered. These are women that have no means. And somehow, so she always advises them that, listen, you have to have something of your own.
Yes.
Because there are some men that may be irresponsible such that every little money they have, they spend on drinking, on women.
No,
and you as a
yeah.
woman, you have to ensure that you provide something for yourself and
know
your
who
children.
you're married to, actually, very importantly, because at the end of the day, I believe that if a decision of buying property or things like that is so huge, it has to be taken by both of them.
Together.
So even the husband would be irresponsible not to call his wife, to tell her, I want to buy land.
Exactly.
You know, so, but the man went on to say several other things that were irresponsible. of him.
Very derogatory. Let's take this call from Benjamin. Benjamin from the UK. Morning, are you there?
Morning, I'm here.
Go ahead, please.
It's my first time calling. And
Welcome to the show.
I want to talk about the pastor's situation.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. It's quite unfortunate that when the church is in a bad light, it is being publicized.
Yeah.
When the church does things that are good, nobody talks about it. A lot of pastors do give. I have to say that. Many of them don't come out on TV or the internet. People who spread this.
Yeah.
Negative.
Pastors
Yes.
who collect
All we hear is private jets.
Yes, but many are doing this.
a lot
Fantastic.
of pastors do give.
Thank you, Benjamin.
Fantastic.
We have pastors have free schools.
Yeah, right.
We have free schools, free restaurants,
In Port Harcourt,
free
wow.
skill
Yeah.
acquisition.
Thank you very much, Benjamin. You're very correct. Absolutely correct, Benjamin. Yes, Mary, we're going to say something concerning the new topic.
Okay, yeah, so the new topic, I was going to say it's very important to have a joint decision when it comes to taking major financial decisions concerning your family. So it's not about just being a wife and doing it. It's also being even as a husband, you need to sit down with your wife and take, come together and make those major decisions. I remember especially when I was working in a bank, I had a boss who used to talk so well of his wife. She's just the best wife. And we would ask him why. He says that when she takes her salary at the end of the month, she'll come home, kneel down, and give it to him and say, he would now decide how that money is spent.
This our Nigerian man also said so, that a good woman should be kneeling down to feed her husband food at home, and that also...
Don't go there.
But the point... No, we can't even exhaust it, because we'll bring it up another day, because this is a topic that we need to properly diagnose.
I think you should know your husband's thoughts. The husband should know the wife. So we should have, as a family, have a priority of what we will spend money on. If that is already on ground, then I don't need to even call you. I know what we've discussed every time. What is our priority?
And that is why when you meet someone,
we'll get some more people to talk about this. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we're going to address issues affecting Nigerian healthcare system. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So a lot of questions are being asked by people as to know how accessible health management organizations, popularly known as HMOs, are in Nigeria. From the challenges people face to getting adequate health care, to a lot of people not even knowing that without being an employee of any organization, you can be actually a member of an HMO plan. Joining us is the Pioneer Managing Director and CEO of Avon Healthcare Limited, Adesumbo Ukiri. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
You can give us your views on 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag Yourview TVC so we can read your tweets. Right, so...
Please permit me to jump in, because you just said something in the intro that I'm sure everybody that doesn't work in a corporate environment to be curious about. Is it possible for a regular individual to have HMO coverage affordably?
Definitely, affordably. Right now, any person can subscribe to a health plan from Avon HMO. And the health plans cost as little as 19,000 naira.
Oh, really?
For the whole year. So depending on your age, your income level.
So when your company says they're doing for you, so it's almost as if they're not really doing nothing.
No, but what is it covering?
Yeah, but it covers a lot. I mean, with the lowest price plan which we have, which is about 19,000 naira odd, you get coverage for all your primary care ailments. So your malaria, your upper respiratory tract infection, your urinary tract infections, all the normal things that happen that you can walk into a hospital and be given drugs to treat. You get covered for that.
Yeah, I heard that recently because we're talking about getting your domestic help on those plans.
Exactly. And it covers surgeries as well. It covers all the basic investigations you have to do. Not CS, covers minor and medium, type of surgeries. Not even admission surgeries like appendectomy, hernia. So it's quite a bit,
hernia is actually very affordable to do.
15 minutes. We've been told it's about 15 minutes.
We had a doctor tell us that it's about 40,000.
Exactly, but you pay 20,000. You paid less than 20,000 for the plan.
I've worked in an insurance company before, and I know that the big jobs usually aren't covered, like things like cancer, things like diseases like diabetes, and these are things that people go through, most families, etc. So my question to you is that when you have an aged person, maybe your mother, your in-law, you want them to be under, how many plans tell you it doesn't cover your parents? So if in that kind of way, where they know they're susceptible to diseases like that, what kinds of plans are available for people like that?
Okay, so I'm going to take us back a little bit. And the truth is that you are advised to get onto a health insurance plan while you are still relatively young. If our coverage in Nigeria is still so minimal. We have less than 5% of Nigerians covered by health insurance. And you have a situation where most people have the mindset of, I'm not going to need it when they're healthy. So everybody tries to come on it when they already discover they have a health issue. Now, that's already killing the system.
Right.
Because that's what we call adverse selection. Imagine if all the sick people came. I've just spoken about a health insurance cover that costs about 19,000 naira. So I've collected 19,000 naira from 10 people, and all 10 people need hernia or appendectomy or any other surgery. Each surgery costing 40,000, 60,000, 80,000. How's it going to be covered? Right. So the whole essence of health insurance and what makes it work is to have sick people, healthy people, people who are in between sick and healthy, all coming together, knowing that everybody will not fall ill with the same ailments at the same time, and some might not even fall ill at all.
Right.
And
Before they die.
And that's how it works.
I think you should explain to our audience, because some of them might not really understand what exactly HMO covers. What is HMO all about? What is the advantage of being on an HMO plan? Because if they know, they probably would be.
Okay. So very simply, what an HMO does is that we pull together funds and we pull together risks. So we take a little bit of money from a whole lot of people on the assumption that all those people will not be ill at the same time, to the same level, and cost the same.
Right.
So the ill people are being taken care of by the people that are not ill. Now, what that also means is that you have trusted us to give you access to good quality health care. So as an HMO, we also go out and we contract with hospitals. We put them through an accreditation process. Okay. So we are choosing hospitals that we are confident will be able to deliver quality healthcare services to you. So you don't have to worry about the quality you're getting. Okay. And then we also negotiate with them. So we are getting better rates than you would get as a private patient.
Okay, good.
Because of the volume we're bringing to them.
Okay.
So we do some crucial things. One is that we give you financial access, because, you know, sometimes you fall ill and you don't have money in your pocket.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you God forbid, have an ailment that you never imagined you would ever have, and it's catastrophic. You can't afford to take care of yourself. So first is that. The second is also what I mentioned about, you know, just the quality assurance that we give you. So you are satisfied that the service you're getting.
Okay. All right, so that would now bring me to the question is, how are HMOs doing in Nigeria then? This is what they're meant to do, but how are they doing? It
is really tough. It's really, really tough, you know, because one of the challenges we face has to do with regulation, adequate regulation, not only of the HMOs, but also of the hospitals.
Providers.
Thank you.
Yes.
A consistent and ongoing battle, and a point that, you know, comes up again and again, is that HMOs don't pay hospitals or don't pay hospitals enough.
Yes.
But also you don't hear of how hospitals themselves game the system and make it hard for HMOs to pay them. But on top of all of that sits inadequate regulation. So when,
which is part of the government.
Which is part of government and the NHIS. When hospitals are not being paid, who steps in? Where do the hospitals have recourse to? You know, and part of that as well is still regulatory, because, you know, an HMO's ability to pay is based on its financial strength.
How responsive has the government been to the plight of HMOs and people?
Well, I will say that it's still an area that's very, very sore. We would like to see the financial statements of all HMOs published. It should be made public.
So, to break it down, is having a pot where all of us put in a small percentage of our regular income, right? And so that hopefully not all of us will need it. One person will need it, may need it, and we're able to take out of that and still have some money left in the pot. That's what it really is about. So regardless of you're a staff of any organization or not, you can have access by walking to private HMOs and get covered. Now, the reason some people are a little reluctant, you know how insurance is, that I keep on insuring my car every year, nothing ever happens to my car. So why am I giving you my hard-earned money that I should use to go and buy Gary? Secondly, the NHIS is supposed to cover all of us and make it even cheaper than walking into a private HMO, but that hasn't worked. What are the solutions for the Nigerian environment?
Okay, so I'll address the first one, which is that, but I've been paying you this premium and I haven't fallen ill. And it's a valid thing to say sometimes. But what you also discover is that, you know, you haven't fallen ill today doesn't mean you will not be ill tomorrow. I actually have a colleague who, even though he worked with us, was actually GM operations in another company where I worked before, used to complain all the time about, you know, it would be better if the company just gave him his money. And, you know, I used to feel so betrayed. You're part of us. Why are you saying this? No, saying, but let them just pay us our money. I don't need this health plan and all of that. By the time his wife got pregnant, triplets.
Whoa.
Bed rest almost 8 months.
So you just never know.
Delivery CS. He literally put his hand on his head and said, thank God.
Right.
So those are the places HMO comes in.
Those are the places, you know, unforeseen medical expenses. You know, sometimes people
we have to go on a break, but I need to know that, so for example, somebody who has been putting money in the pot since started working 25, and you probably don't need it until like you're 40. Now, do you provide for me? Does your provision for me commensurate what I put in, or is it just I mean, let me get.
Is it just based on my illness?
Just based on my illness.
Yeah.
Like, I've put like 10 million naira into that pot for the past 20 years.
I wish. I want you on my team.
Okay. All right, let's go on a quick. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, Toko had a question here.
Following up with Mariah's question, if I've been doing, I've been paying my premium every year for 5 years, and I had no health issue all through, or no major health issue, is it possible that I would get, because I see adverts on cable network where they say you get something out. So if I don't use if I've been healthy for 5 years, then you will pay me
The money we're saving.
some money, like a
Or
percentage.
interest,
You pay me an interest because I've been giving you money without using it. So do you have something like that in the works, or do we have it right now?
Like
in
as an
Nigeria?
So I
incentive.
have to first differentiate between health insurance and other types of insurance.
Okay.
So other types of insurance, for instance, you know about life insurance, right? You know, that one, many people don't actually die.
Yes.
Most people don't actually die. So they're sitting down on a large body of funds that is not utilized. Same thing for car insurance, vehicle insurance, general insurance. Those things really happen. The difference between all those types of insurance and health insurance is that
people are always sick.
people are sick and are using it.
Then you.
So, so that pool of funds that other clients of insurance sit on, in health
You don't
insurance,
have it.
we don't have it.
True.
Because from day one, people are using. Also, the system that we practice, the system of health insurance that we practice in this country, is one in which every individual who subscribes, more often than not, is tied to a healthcare provider, a hospital. We are sharing that premium with the hospital. So we pay something called capitation. Okay. So a proportion, sometimes as much as 50%, as much as 45%, goes straight to the hospital, whether you fall ill or not. On your head, that amount is being paid to a provider. Also sharing risk so that provider has a pool of funds to treat people as they come.
Somebody is hearing you now saying 19,000 naira a year is the possible package. What does that cover? Because somebody's saying, listen, I can provide that. What does it cover? My wife, my kids, my parents?
That's an individual cost.
Okay, just for the person.
It's just for one person.
Okay,
so if you wanted to do for a family is defined under our scheme as a spouse and up to, well, an individual is spouse and up to 4 children.
Children. So like how much is that per year?
But we don't multiply it by 6, you see. We multiply it by 4, which is the average family size. So that's roughly about 80,000
So
for a
tell
family
us,
of 6
per year.
Per year.
a year.
And must they pay it as 180K, or can you pay it monthly?
So that's the exciting part. Prior to now, I can tell you that it was very hard to find health insurance companies who would allow you to pay your premiums instrumentally in Nigeria, just because of the kind of strain we have on our cash flow. Like I explained to you now, we have to pay hospitals and all of that. But recently, we partnered with a fintech company called Piggy Bank, which many of you are aware of.
Yes, I
Piggy
do.
Bank is, the millennials' favorite for online savings. And what it has enabled us and Piggy Bank do is to make available to Nigerians the ability to pay even on a daily basis.
Oh, that's nice. So
for
tell
our
us-
health plans.
From the
So
piggy
as
bank, you take out.
you subscribe to your health plan from the Piggy Bank platform, and for as
Nice.
little as 16 naira a day.
Wow. So you can just be taking it from my
You
account.
won't even
I
feel
just
it.
direct debit.
You won't even feel it. You won't even feel it. So
Okay,
this
so
is something
that's
phenomenal
really
that
good.
we're
That's
just
good.
announcing
So tell
now.
us some of the advantages so that I may be further impressed, Maybe, because I'm under your HMO, I walk into the hospital like this, they stop everybody else. Just wait, our patient has come.
Okay, should I tell you personal experience?
I was
Yeah,
going to
my
say,
kids fell ill,
Yes.
and I got to the hospital, and I saw people with HMO that they just went through their test and all that, and we had to deposit 100,000 naira before we got treated because we
Okay.
didn't have a cover. Total expense cost us over 300K because they were twins on drip. And I told my husband that time, I said, see, I told us to do HMO like a year ago.
Yeah,
if we had done this, we would have saved us this.
Yeah, making our
lot of
job very
money.
easy. Tell us other advantages.
So I will tell you all that. And I'm going to make this one specific to us as Avon HMO. So our mantra in Avon HMO is that, we empower you to live healthier, fuller lives. That's what we do. That's why we exist. So what does that mean? I'm not advertising for Avon here.
You are getting a new voice.
I've been to the hospital where I had a card, and I went to the hospital, and the hospital says that they do not work with this
Particular.
anymore. So why are there, yes, anymore? So it looks like that there are problems with HMOs
Definitely
and hospitals.
They are.
So what happens to the person who's been paying? What then happens to me, or someone who goes and then he says there's nothing I can do and I do not have cash on me? What then happens to me?
Okay, so I'll take it in two ways. First is that, honestly, with the HMOs who have good relationships with hospitals, when I say good relationships, it means that they pay fairly for the services. So they have an agreed contracted tariff that is fair. And not only that, when the hospitals make their claims gets paid,
Right.
okay? That kind of hospital and that kind of HMO, you get there with your card, you will receive the kind of, service that she pointed to and that she kind of looked forward to receiving, But if you get to a hospital and you present the card and the hospital says, sorry, we're not working with this HMO anymore, you still have your rights because that HMO has promised you access to quality healthcare services.
Okay, we have to take a few tweets, but I need to ask this question concerning the fact that we hear every day of celebrities needing money, pool money, asking for kidney transplant, looking for cancer things.
Yeah.
Are there special packages for these kinds of people who we know that they will?
Yeah.
Not talking about your own company perspective, but
across,
but there should be special packages for
across
these.
all HMOs. You
Right.
have different levels of health cover. You have different levels of benefits. On
So
the
this
health plan.
different level of health cover, they say that when you get to the hospital, they want to give you drug, they'll give you the cheapest paracetamol, and they'll give you antibiotics in those sachets.
Really?
And they're like the cheapest you could find because your coverage cannot give you more than that. Then you cannot see a gynecologist. If you are pregnant, you will only see a general practice doctor because your coverage is very small.
I will talk to that. Generally, across all HMOs as well, what we try to do is that, the good ones, we try to ensure that we have protocols that the hospitals are meant to adhere to. The clinical quality of the care you receive is not tied to how much you pay.
Really?
Clinical quality is clinical quality. It's got nothing to do with how
That's
much
how
you
it
pay.
should be.
That's how it should be. And that's how HMOs who are worth their weight in gold work to ensure that hospitals deliver no matter what they received.
Right.
But what is differentiated is the level of benefits you're entitled to. So on the 20,000 plan, you're right, it doesn't cover cancer care, but we do all have health plans
Let me
that
take
will
one or
cover
two tweets
cancer
before
care.
you run off.
Dr. Felix says the NHIS is a nice concept, but the process is still very rudimentary. Most HMOs are there for profits and don't cover all services. They're still owing my hospital money for services given out since last year. Adesu Wayari says, I disagree with your guest this morning that HMO gives primary health care to patients. In the case of a patient who has malaria, all they give is one injection and a dose of paracetamol. How can that cure malaria? Aduku says, to fix our health sector, very simple. Just pass the law about the elected public officials not to seek for medical tourism abroad.
Fortunately, we have to run off, but I think before we leave, it's important to let everybody know that everybody can subscribe to some HMO or the other, and you don't have to be under paid employment. And also, with the partnership with piggy banks, even if you can't afford the big chunk of 80,000 per year, you can do the 16 naira per day, which is cheaper. So you can have a deal where they remove it from your salary easily, and you won't even feel it. But at least you know that your children, your family, your wife, they're safe.
HMOs are important.
And there are special packages for
Celebrities and all that.
because they drink,
That's all we can say. Thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it.
Getting an invoice.
Hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you.